Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the West. More specifically, we are in San Francisco, California, and even more specifically than that, we're in front of Ripley's Believe It or Not. I absolutely love the Ripley's Believe It or Not attractions, and whenever I'm back in town, I always like to check back in with the Ripleys to see what has changed, see what they've updated, to see the new stuff, and to enjoy some of the old attractions as well. So I figured since we were here in San Francisco, it was time to stop back in to the San Francisco Ripley's Believe It or Not. So please, follow me. Ripley's always likes to make zany exteriors for their buildings, and you can see that this, believe it or not, is actually built to look like the Golden Gate Bridge. Here we head in under the metaphorical Golden Gate Bridge into Ripley's. So we're greeted by a real-life transformer made of auto parts and an Iron Man made of genuine iron. Got a Robert Ripley coin crusher out here in front. Let me see, what do you want to make? Should we make the Gurning Man, two-headed cow? I think I have the two-headed cow. Let's go ahead and make a Gurning Man. Actually, I think we have to put our money in there first. And
I've traveled over 201 countries.
All right, so we'll hit the Gurning Man, and Robert Ripley will start cranking out that penny, that flattened penny, and there we go. Yeah, you can see the Gurning Man there smashed onto that penny. This giant T-Rex here, made out of bits of metal. Oh, you gotta be careful though. This is pointy, sharp objects. His teeth that look like they're actually knives. Here we are on Fisherman's Wharf here in San Francisco. Here is the Gurning Man, dressed in his fisherman's rain slicker. See the Cuban eye popper up there on the ledge looking down at us ominously. This is an absolute terrifying yet amazing artifact here. This is the car of Buck Helms. He was stuck in the 1989 San Francisco earthquake. His car was absolutely crushed, but he could not get out of the car, but he survived inside of this car for 4 days, living in this just hunk of twisted metal. No one was able to rescue him for a full 4 days. And there is the license plate of the car, and very appropriately it says Super Dad on the framework, because he was definitely a super dad to be able to survive in a smashed car for 4 days. Here we have an amazing Mammoth made out of shredded tires. It's kind of been a thing at Ripley's, these massive beasts made out of shredded tires. I've seen gorillas and lions. Here we have a tire mammoth. We have the vampire woman Maria Jose Cristanera. She was an attorney in Mexico and one day decided to turn herself into a vampire-like creature. Said it was a form of empowerment to fight the abuse that she had suffered in her life, and became a truly unique person. All right, heading up staircase here. We are greeted at the top of the stairs by this massive prehistoric cave bear. In some ways, I am grateful that bears aren't as ferocious and enormous as they were back in cave times. Also here, a matchstick Golden Gate Bridge. Ripley's a lot of times will have the matchstick sculptures, but fitting that here in San Francisco we have the famous Golden Gate Bridge in matchstick form. Here is the one-armed wallpaper installer that Robert Ripley met him and was so impressed at his ability to lay wallpaper that he actually hired him to wallpaper his own office. On top of this flagpole we have Perry Bindle, known as the human flag, because he could just crawl up a flagpole and just make himself into a flag with his legs waving in the wind. How many people out there can just turn themselves into a flag? Here's possibly the most famous sideshow performer, Johnny Eck, born with underdeveloped legs that made it appear as though he did not have legs. Of course, his trademark move was his one-handed handstand. This here is a bust of Robert Ripley, but it was actually created by a blind artist. You can see the artist up there would touch Robert Ripley's face and then translate it into his sculpture to create a very remarkable facsimile of Robert Ripley's face just through touch. Here we have Robert Ripley's desk. Let's have some interesting things here in the drawer. Some of the ink used by actual Robert Ripley in his early cartoons. What's in this drawer here? Ah, woolly mammoth hair. In case you ever want to clone a woolly mammoth, Robert Ripley's got it in his desk drawer. What's in this one? Oh, collection of glass eyes. Creepy. Some of my favorite pieces in the Ripley's collection are their collection of Fiji Mermaids. These were probably the most famous fake or sideshow gaff, where they originally would take the front of monkeys and attach them to fish and display them as mermaids. Would be involved in different traveling sideshows and museums. Famously, one of them displayed by P.T. Barnum. This is an absolutely enormous Fiji mermaid. Usually they are not this large. And also in here with the Fiji mermaid is a walrus baculum. There's J.T. Sailor's the Gurning Man here, dressed in his usher uniform as he ushers us into seeing if we can roll our tongue. I don't know, let's see. Can we roll our tongue? I can roll from side to side. I can also do this. I can touch the tip of my tongue to my nose tip. That was a talent that made me very popular in school. I am just kidding. All the kids made fun of me and called me booger licker. Another part of the San Francisco Matchstick Club, we have a matchstick cable car. San Francisco famous for its cable car transportation. Another piece of San Francisco here, we have an actual chunk, a cable cut from the Golden Gate Bridge. Look how thick that cable is. Actually, I would actually expect it to be a little bit thicker, but it's still pretty thick. And then next to that, we got a Tibetan ram skull. This religious artifact made out of a ram. Here is some of the clothing of Sandy Allen. She was the tallest woman to ever live. She was 7 foot 7 inches. You can see a very large moo-moo there. Some pretty enormous shoes as well. All right, heading in to the kaleidoscope room here. Very intense, lots of swirling colors, pounding copyright music. Here is a taxidermied sea lion. Of course, San Francisco famous for its sea lions, but this is not just any sea lion. No, no, no. This is Goliath, the world's largest sea lion. Says when he passed away, he weighed 4,500 pounds. That is quite a big sea lion. Oh,
that's right. A South African croc guide.
The crocodile man is talking.
So much. I wear croc teeth for my own.
So yeah, he has dentures made out of crocodile teeth.
3 times.
So a talking bust here. This woman here has bound feet. An ancient Chinese practice where women's feet were bound into be tiny, tiny feet, as it was considered to be attractive back at one point in history. This is Major General Daniel E. Sickles. He is probably most famous for having his leg shot off with a cannonball during the Civil War. And his leg, his shattered leg, along with the cannonball that shattered it, were displayed at the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology in Washington, D.C., a medical museum. And Major Sickles would actually come to the museum regularly to visit his leg. Now, Ripley's will often take some of their extra artifacts that aren't currently on display and put them into shooting galleries so they can be shot at. Let's shoot some artifacts. All right, here we go. I don't know if we can shoot. There's some sort of electric chair back there. Oh, there we go. See the chair moving now that I've shot it? I don't. Yeah, I got some. Oh, it's blasting out compressed air. Let's see, there's someone hiding in this barrel right here. There we go. Oh, it's the world's man with the world's largest nose was hiding in the barrel there. Is there something in this medical bag here? Oh, there was a two-headed calf hiding back behind there. And the stocks. Oh, what was that? Here is the Lighthouse Man, one of the Ripley's characters. He would put a candle inside of his head. He actually had a hole in his head that he would insert a candle into so he could give lighted tours. I guess he actually made the hole in his head specifically so he could put a candle in it, which is, you know, some real dedication. In this box here we have a 5-pound masking tape ball. That's a lot of masking tape when you think about it. Down here there's some scrimshawed whale teeth, as well as some whale lice. Ooh, look at those big, disgusting, giant whale lice. Oh, there's a big box here just waiting to be opened. I wonder. Oh. There's someone screaming inside of it. Oh, here's a very special taxidermied animal. This is Fran the duck. You can see her bill grew sideways on the top, but she actually lived a healthy life and actually lived in the wild. There was a person that would take care of her and feed her and check on her, but otherwise she would just walk around doing duck things. You can see the big moose there. It's made out of rusty nails, these big thick nails making up the moose. Here's our friend Rodney Fox. He is best known for being a disgusting victim of a shark. The shark bit him so hard that his guts fell out, but he was fine, so it's all good. Here is a handwritten Bible. Someone transcribed the entire Bible by hand, and look how thick it is. I guess, you know, a Bible has really thin pages and really small type, but if you write it out, it is that thick. That is a thick book. We have a little box here full of torture implements. The bride's skull, which would go over the face of a woman, have a metal piece go into her mouth. This is a branding iron, but it looks much more brutal than that. It's like these hooks that would dig into someone's skin. This whip here, this flail is made out of chains and pointy nails, and of course the head crusher used for crushing people's heads. You know, torture's a horrible thing. We have some genie's lamps here. It says test a lamp. So I guess we rub the lamp here. I'm gonna rub both the lamps. Wait a minute. Oh,
there should be a law against keeping immortals stuffed in lamps. Oh, speaking of laws, the earliest known example of a public set of laws was the Code of Hammurabi, which you might remember for an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Here is Ching Fu. He was a Chinese man that was born inexplicably with blue skin. Some authentic Egyptian mummified head. That is kind of horrifying. Look at how the teeth stick out there, how it has hair, and oh my gosh, you can even see eyelashes there on the mummy's head. There's a little mummified cat back there to keep it company as well. This is Kamala the wolf girl. She was found in 1912 and was allegedly raised by wolves. Kind of created the whole legend of the person raised by wolves. That idea was used in the Jungle Book story with Mowgli, the vending machine that distributes different types of bugs. You can get these worms, these mealworms, some candy with ants in it. These are amber candy with a bug inside. You know, I've eaten bugs before. They taste like grimy, dirty seafood. Had a scorpion that tasted kind of like just a smelly, dirty lobster. So I'd get some bugs to eat, but I've already eaten today. You can see here is a donkey made completely out of wine corks. Lots of different animals made out of random objects. But I guess it's just a bunch of wine corks put together to form a donkey. You can see a fantasy coffin there. These are popular in certain parts of Africa, where they have the coffin, the outside of the coffin designed like an object. This one's made to look like a Coca-Cola bottle, so presumably the person that would be buried in here would be someone who loved drinking Coke during their lifetime. You can see the Coke logo there on the front of the coffin. Some sort of fish machine here. I guess we hit the button to activate the fish. Oh, and there we go. You can see it. It's now swimming through the water there. It's an authentic Olympic torch. This is from 1988 in Seoul. Here is Jeremy Bentham. He was an English philosopher who, when he was deceased, he had himself preserved and placed on display at the University of London. But they had a problem where his head became excessively ghoulish. So they replaced his head with a wax head, but you know, for some reason they actually left the ghoulish head at the feet of the preserved wax-faced Jeremy Bentham. So this display is actually, this is a replica, but they have this actual same display with the real Jeremy Bentham currently at the University of London. You can go see him today if you live in London. And here we have our friend, Mr. Zoltar. Of course, whenever we see Zoltar, you gotta give him a little bit of money. Always gotta have our we gotta know what our fortune is. Go for it, Zoltar.
Come closer and listen to what Zoltar has to tell you. Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. That's right. You must live your days as if they were your last. Because one day they will be. You know what I mean. So go on, have fun, and surrender more cash for more wisdom from the great Zoltar.
Here we have Wang, the unicorn man, known for having a horn grow out the back of his head there. Just lived his life with a horn coming out the back of his head. It looks like from here we enter this train car. Actually hear the train sounds. Well, it looks like we're actually racing across the countryside. You can see there's all sorts of artifacts sticking out of these boxes here in the train car. You got a hammock there full of items. Here's a hadrosaur dinosaur feet. Just a couple of dinosaur feet in that box. Oh, as the train travels, you can see the lamp and the hammock shaking there. Another one of my favorite gaffs, the Furbearing Trout, because of course in the very cold waters of the Great Lakes, trout need to grow fur in order to stay warm. There's a little two-headed weasel there, an adorable little act of God. It says, "Do not look in the hole. Warning, the world's most unbelievable." So what's in the hole? What is in the hole? Okay, it's my butt. It's a video recording right now. See, move my butt this way, move my butt this way. They're recording my butt. My butt is apparently the world's most unbelievable. These are presidents' heads made out of chewed up money. We have insects here. I believe these are ants. You can see they have painted faces to look like celebrities. A little band of ants there. Leave a comment in the comment section if you make out who any of these ants are. I think I see John Wayne there in the middle. Here's Oscar, a paratroop dummy. They used these on D-Day, I guess, to make the illusion that there was more people landing than there really was. Kind of a fake dummy that would come down on a parachute. This is interesting. This is a toilet seat. It was designed so these would roll so you could sit on the toilet seat and defecate normally, but if you tried to stand on the toilet seat to sneak a creepy peek at someone, these would turn and you would fall off the toilet seat. I'm not sure. Oh! It just blasted me with compressed air, whatever in this box here. We have Eric Sprague, the lizard man. He has done a lot of work to turn himself into a half man, half lizard creature. Here's some of Joe Dimaggio's possessions. We have his duffel bag there and his bathroom slippers. Guess it's special slippers to go to the bathroom. Oh, Joe Dimaggio. Here's Bobby Blackburn. We saw his talking bust earlier. He, of course, worked with crocodiles and actually fashioned himself a pair of dentures using crocodile teeth. Here is a prison Shiv collection, and someone actually corrected me recently when I would refer to these as shanks. Of course, they are knives and stabbing implements made by inmates in order to stab each other, but I was calling them shanks, and someone said they are not called shanks, they are used to shank. So they are called shivs. You create a shiv, a pointed object, in prison, and then when you use it on someone, that is called shanking them. So shanking someone. So it's you shank someone with a shiv, or at least that's what I was told. Spooky area in here, containing some spooky artifacts. We have a human bone flute, an instrument made out of human remains, a cannibal necklace made from human bones, and then a murderer's ring. Says that rings like this were dipped in poison and were used to immobilize victims. So you'd actually use this ring to paralyze people so you could sacrifice them to your god. A mummified falcon in there. Falcon's very important to the Egyptians, were often included in their tombs. And there is an Egyptian canopic jar. These were, of course, they'd remove the organs from the mummy and place them in these creepy jars. Some cannibal skulls in there, very, very spooky. We have a Padang long-necked woman who would use these rings and wrap it around their necks to create the illusion that they had long necks, but really they were just pushing down their shoulders. But all in all, it's probably all very painful. There's a bone dagger, some rings be placed inside a person's lips. That wouldn't be a Ripley's if it didn't have a shrunken head. You can see that little shriveled, preserved head done to take the powers of the victim. Entering the space room here, this space shuttle made of matchsticks. And here we have a cosmonaut survival hydrosuit used by Russian astronauts, or I guess they call them cosmonauts. In America they're called astronauts, in Russia they're called cosmonauts. And there's a cosmonaut space glove and a Soviet space rescue suit. Some very small items in here. You see some famous musicians, Michael Jackson, Jim Morrison, all painted on these tiny little bird eggs. Then we have some scenes drawn on pieces of rice. These are too small for me to even make out. That teeny tiny Golden Gate Bridge there. There's a microform Bible, and I think these are the presidents on the heads of pins. Okay, we can actually use these buttons to move this object here, and it shows us what it sees up there. So you can see there's a Theodore Roosevelt pin that is over top of. So we move over top these small items. Let's move over top the little Golden Gate Bridge there. Oh, there we go. Little tiny Golden Gate Bridge. Let's see what was on those rice kernels that we couldn't tell. Okay, there it is, the Golden Gate Bridge on a piece of rice. What's on the other piece of rice? Oh, I think that is maybe the Statue. Is it the Statue of Liberty? It's hard to tell. It's on a piece of rice. There's an exhibit on eggs, or an exhibit, if you will. There's an etched ostrich egg, a carved rhea egg. There's an egg that's been carved like a lattice. That's pretty impressive. Down here we have a dinosaur egg, and there is a fried egg right there. We hit the, illuminated this on the wall that says the average American eats 245 eggs a year. I don't know how many eggs I eat a year. Maybe I'll start counting. And here's our boy, Wadlow, world's tallest man. If you remember the world's tallest woman, Sandy Allen, 7'7". She would only come up to about there on Wadlow because he was 8 feet 11 inches. I think he's currently dressed here in his San Francisco garb. There's a resident of San Francisco, Mr. Jimi Hendrix, because he is made out of tape from cassette tapes unwound to create his face. It's a comic known as Squadron Supreme. It says this was the last comic created by Mark Gruenwald, the comic book artist. It said he actually had his ashes put in the ink of the comic before it was printed. Here we have George Carlin carved out of a telephone book. And there we have a wedding dress made of toilet paper. You can see there. It actually looks very nice for, you know, for toilet paper. This scene here made out of shoelaces. You can see the snake and the bird in the tree here. And then the zebra, which I guess his head is actually made out of the running shoes themselves. Some wire busts here. We have Janis Joplin carved out of wire. We have Jerry Garcia there carved out of wire. And then our final carving is Carlos Santana. Here's Grace McDaniels, known by some as the world's ugliest woman, known by others as the mule-faced woman, but you know what? I think she's beautiful from the inside out. Here are some horror film portraits made out of spider webs. We got Freddy Krueger there, made from spider webs, and Mr. Frankenstein himself. This is one of the strangest, most ghoulish items in a Ripley's. This is a human skin silhouette. It says that a coroner was just decided to cut a chunk of human flesh and make a portrait out of Lincoln. He thought it would be a creative thing to do, but later he regretted his decision to just make art out of dead people. And it said he actually ended his own life because he felt so guilty about making this Lincoln skin chunk. Wow, what a tale. And it is time to head through the Vortex Tunnel. Oh, look at that. These are very easy. Mess with your perception of reality, mess with your perception of space and time, and cause you to not be able to walk in a straight path. So these blacklight portraits of some of the famed Ripley's characters. There's Grace McDaniels there, and then this repeating indented face here. Some sort of giant robotic insect here. You can see he's got gas pumps for hands. I think we can maybe get him to move. Oh, there we go. So he moves his creepy gas hands and flaps his wings. I guess it's some sort of lightning bug with gas hands. Up here on the wall, they're actually talking about Electro the Robot, saying that Ripley featured him in his cartoons. There's Electro there, and we actually visited Electro when we were in Ohio. He's at the a small museum in Mansfield, Ohio. There's a spider made of scissors there. That'd be terrifying if that was something that was really alive. There is a bust of a hippie there. Says this is made completely out of screws. The title of the art exhibit was "You Are Screwed." This screen here actually shows the tongue testing mirror from earlier. I think I've isolated my footage. You can see my feet here. I'm gonna turn the dial and see if we can. Oh look, I'm looking at something else. So I'm not paying attention to the mirror yet. Let's see here. What am I doing? Okay. Oh, there I go. And I got too close. You can only see the top of my hat when I'm making tongue motions. There we go. Let me see. Oh, doing a little bit there. See, I'm starting to make a tongue motion there into the mirror. Here is a Darth Vader helmet made out of computer parts. You can see his helmet there, made out of keyboard keys. And then here is an AT-AT or AT-AT made out of computer parts. I do love how they added in the jackalope horns there. Pretty amazing. What's this in here? It says bodies in motion. Oh, there I am. But I'm like, oh, okay. Got a crazy effect going on. Oh no, what's even happening? Here we can freeze our shadow. So we get there.
Stand against the opposite wall and strike a pose.
Okay, we're gonna strike a pose here.
Don't look into the flash.
Against this wall. Don't look into the flash.
3, 2, 1. Now check your shadow on the wall.
Oh, look, there we go. There is my shadow, preserved forever, on this wall. over top the lobby here, we have this woman rotating. I guess she's holding onto that object there with her teeth. Just a piece of wood as she rotates above Ripley's. And there's the guy that likes to let snakes crawl through his mouth and nose. This is what they call an upcycled Fembot. It's got that Boba Fett style helmet, but it is definitely of the female gender. See, it's completely covered with different computer parts. You got keyboard keys. There's some different types of keys on the flesh there. Very interesting figure there. See some penguins flipping around up here in the air. Looks like they're actually made from like different plastic items and objects. And of course there in the middle we got a guy on a motorcycle made out of license plates. All right, we actually got Ripley's mirror maze here inside of Ripley's, believe it or not. Got our hands covered in the plastic gloves. That is part of maze protocol to make sure that you do not smear your bodily liquids and secretions on the mirror glass as we head through here. I've been in a lot of these mirror mazes and I've still not come up with a good solid strategy on how you beat them. Actually, here is it looks like a rotating door that we move through. This may be the key to conquering the mirror maze. Oh no, everything just turned red. Is that a good sign or a bad sign? Okay, which way are we headed? You gotta pay attention to the reflections. If you're walking towards yourself, that is a mirror, that is the wrong way. If you do not see yourself, it is okay to walk forward because that is not a mirror. So, okay, going around this corner here, and what? Oh, there we go. We've conquered the mirror maze. Okay, the screen here will create masks on your face. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's a new mask. Hi, hello, I am a masked headed person. I think, how do you change masks? You jump, okay, there we go. Now I'm just drinking out of coconuts that are in my hat. Make me jump. Okay, that doesn't work. I don't know how we change. Maybe it just changes every once in a while. That's the same one, but I guess we can enjoy it. Glug, 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 drinking. Oh, okay. Let's back up, maybe back away, and then back towards and see what mask it gives us. Okay, now I've got googly eyes and a rainbow mohawk. That's pretty awesome there, I must admit. And our tour guide, the Gurning Man, says we exit this way. Into the streets of San Francisco. So thank you for joining me here today in San Francisco, here on the Fisherman's Wharf at Ripley's. Believe it or not, as I said, I always love checking back in with the Ripleys when I travel to different cities. Always like to keep tabs on what's going on at the local Ripleys, and definitely love stepping in here at the San Francisco Ripleys to see the new exhibits, the new items that they had on display. If you guys like these videos, I visited all the Ripleys in the United States. I'm gonna check back and watch some of those. I've been through 48 continental United States filming roadside attractions, amusement parks, museums, haunted houses, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to help the channel, please subscribe and let you know when new videos are coming out, and they are uploaded regularly. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also, selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop. All that goes to help keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.